Hey film fans! Welcome to CINEPRO, your ultimate hub for all movie recaps, from heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. On one of the islands in Costa Rica, on an island called the Island of Happiness, a quiet and beautiful area, and there are two friends walking in the forest, and they are surprised by the excessive quiet around them. Suddenly, they notice someone watching them, so they leave the place and go to the cemetery area. Rolla feels that it is a comfortable area, and neither he nor Sheth respects the sanctity of the cemeteries. Suddenly, they notice someone else watching them. Rolla gets fed up and takes a large piece of wood and decides to attack this strange person, but he is surprised that it is just a statue. Then their third friend, Kelly, appeared, and they started drinking their drinks in a strange building they found. When they entered, they found strange masks and a sharp sword. Rollo still didn't respect the sanctity of the place and mocked the artifacts. Suddenly, someone locked the door on them. When Kelly went to open it, she found a strange masked person behind Rollo, who attacked and killed him. She and Sheth ran away, and out of fear, each went in a different direction. The killer followed Kelly first and finished her off. Then Sheth ran, trying to get back to her friends at the swimming pool. But unfortunately, she couldn't reach them, and suddenly the killer came from behind and finished her off in the forest. An hour before all these murders happened, a new group arrived at Happiness Island in Costa Rica to throw a party there. Among the most important team members for this party were Jenny, Juan, Bootman with his thick hair, their DJ Dave, Jenny's brother, the party's security Sam, and their new member, massage specialist Lars. At that time, Kelly was taking drinks and heading to the forest with Rollo and Sheth, and all three were killed there by the masked killer. The party host owns a party company and is a former singer named Con Ket. He asked everyone to enjoy themselves and party a lot here, but it would be the last party of their lives. Of course, the killer was watching them and would hunt them one by one. A girl named Penelope, who got lost from the group, appeared. She came to the island alone to find her future lover and take a break from city life. Kelly met her and guided her back to the rest of the group, noticing that Penelope was kind and wishing her a good time. Meanwhile, the young people were enjoying the party, unaware that Sheth had been killed by the killer in the forest, and didn't even have time to scream. Lars, the massage specialist, had a special ability. He could touch anyone and make them feel relaxed and happy, losing control for a few seconds. He was also a new member here, and his idol was Con Ket, the party singer. At night, everyone was happy after the success of their first party day. Even Penelope, who met Juan from the organizing team, and they liked each other. Their chef, Carlos, went for a walk outside and found a note saying some friends went on a boat trip and haven't returned yet. Suddenly, he heard a sound around him. When he went to check, he saw something moving, and the killer came and finished him off. DJ David told the group a legend about the island. There was a young man named Machete who heard a call from a beautiful girl at night in the forest and went with her, but it turned out to be all magic. He suddenly found himself with a corpse, not a beautiful girl, and because of the magic, he went completely mad and started killing everyone, then disappeared. The legend said that anyone who enters here dies. Of course, no one believed it and laughed, thinking it was just a game and that those in the forest would come back in the morning. Lars and Sam were to guard the place. Morning came, and neither Rollo, Sheth, nor Kelly had shown up, which worried Con Ket, the manager. He noticed a strange phrase from his songs about someone being thrown at them from the sky while dead, so he thought someone was joking, especially since it said he'd be tied to a boat. There was a maze where the young people played, collecting points and exchanging them for prizes if they managed to catch people disguised as fruit. One team member, Cliff, while walking in the maze, was attacked and killed by the killer disguised as fruit. Cliff thought he was from the team or something. The killer was killing them morning and night. Kelly was attracted to Lars and his magical touches and felt that the calm atmosphere here was a sign of love. Suddenly, the sign came. Someone was thrown from the sky next to them, tied to a boat. When they checked, it was Chef Carlos, whom the killer had killed. They found the killer had carved "naughty person" on his body. They couldn't believe it and saw the boat that had thrown Carlos leaving by itself without a driver. Bootman called Dave and Juan because he also found their friend Cliff killed in the maze. Officer Sam was surprised and saw the word "naughty" written on Cliff, just like on Chef Carlos. The killer wrote that he only kills the workers. When they checked the workers' map, they found the killer had crossed off, in blood, the 5 workers he had killed. They found a note also taken from Con Ket's songs, indicating they shouldn't tell anyone about the murders and must continue working as they were, or else he would kill everyone. They concluded the killer was playing a deadly game with them. When they went to look for boats to escape, they found all of them gone. Even the landlines were cut, and the mobile phones had no signal here. Even the radio was sabotaged, so they were isolated and trapped on the island. They found their security expert, Hank, who told them they had to play the killer's game and catch him in his own game. "We will continue our work as normal, and I will watch you." So they had no choice but to follow Hank's plan. Lars and Kelly searched people's belongings, hoping to find a clue about the killer, but failed. Bootman went to play some music to improve his and the team's mood. To ease their fear, Bootman found an apology letter from Conquette, the manager, to his nephew Dave the DJ about his family, but Bootman didn't understand. Suddenly, he found an old news report saying a mother and father died at one of Conquette's parties long ago, and the two children who survived were Dave the DJ and his sister Jenny. Bootman suspected the killer was Dave, killing people to ruin the party's reputation and take revenge on Conquette for his parents' death. Walking in the forest, she felt something moving around her and found the killer coming at her with a sword. She ran quickly and found Hank in front of her with a metal rod, planning to use it to kill the killer. But the killer easily finished off Hank with the sword, then went after and finished her off too. Jenny heard the sound of a boat engine near her and was surprised because when they searched, all the boats had disappeared due to the killer. This was the same way Chef Carlos was killed, and the fatal blow from the sword in the maze was the same way Cliff died. The killer was killing them in the same ways Conquette described in his old songs. Juan came to them, saying he found Hank and buried in the sand, with the word naughty written on them too. The situation became very dangerous. The killer killed them in the same way Conquette described in one of his songs. Even who was buried in the sand, as mentioned. Everyone except Jenny, doubting Lars, the new massage member, because ever since he showed up, the killer appeared, and he was the one who deduced the ways people were murdered. Though he was oblivious. Bootman decided to take Lars with him to spend the night in the forest, armed, hoping to catch the killer and to confirm if Lars is the killer or not. Meanwhile, his room would be empty so the others could search it. Bootman felt afraid of Lars, but there was no other solution. Juan and Jenny were watching the place when suddenly Benelope showed up with Bootman's sister, who came to eat with them. They were scared of her because there's a Conquette song called The Octopus, so they feared they might die. But they could never suspect Benelope because she is kind and loves Juan. They didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, Lars was with Bootman in the forest. Lars noticed a look of suspicion from Bootman and said, "It's impossible for me to be the killer. I could never kill or hold a sword." Bootman felt Lars was sincere and was sure Dave was the killer, seeking revenge on Conquette and Samu. Dave and Samu searched Lars's room and found only a samurai sword, which Lars owned because he liked it. The surprise came when they searched the closet and found photos of Lars's face pasted onto all the team members' bodies. They believed Lars was killing them because of his love for Conquette and wanted to be close to him alone. In the morning, Lars found the boat Jenny had heard, but unfortunately, the joy was incomplete because the boat was broken and useless. They asked Lars where Bootman was, and he replied that when he woke up in the forest, Bootman was gone. He insisted he wasn't the killer, but they still suspected him because of the photos. He explained that he had admired Conquette since childhood and pasted his face on their pictures because he wished to get closer to them when he grew up, and his dream came true. They didn't believe him and decided to lock him in a room. Jenny decided to relax and went for a swim, but felt something strange moving around her. It turned out to be a prank by a young man, but suddenly the killer appeared with a television, intending to throw it into the water and electrocute them. Jenny tried to warn the young man, but he didn't expect a killer to be there and died by electrocution. Jenny ran away, convinced that Lars was not the killer, and found Bootman. Officer Sam came, and Bootman said he knew who the killer was. They went to Lars's room to release him, but were surprised to find he had escaped through the ventilation pipes. The suspicion remained. When everyone gathered, Dave and his sister Jenny denied any issues between them, saying people knew the accident was due to their parents' and uncle's recklessness, and that Conquette had already written the entire events company in their names, so there was no problem at all. They didn't know what to do when Lars appeared before them. They decided to all stay together, and if the murders continued, the killer was not one of them. But everyone refused out of fear that Lars might kill them, so they made the big mistake of splitting up. Dave went to his DJ to enjoy himself, while Lars and Jenny went to get the samurai swords for defense but couldn't find them. Suddenly they heard screams coming from the DJ room. When they entered, they were shocked to find the killer had cut off the DJ's head and hung it on the turntable. They were terrified and heard the killer's voice, so they hid under Jenny's bed. Jenny found a lock, tied it to the bed by the leg, but didn't have the key. The killer turned out to be their friend Bootman, who the killer then attacked with a sword. Jenny and Lars escaped, but Bootman failed to flee because his leg was tied. Lars and Jenny reached the party, determined not to let people know about the killer, but suddenly the killer turned on the spotlights, revealing all the victims' bodies hanging. Everyone panicked and ran. Juan showed up covered in blood, making them suspect him, but he said he found Bootman dead and took the sword for defense, handing it to Lars to reassure them. They heard Officer Sam screaming and went to the source, finding a pit full of liquid mud with Sam drowning in it. Suddenly, Sam emerged alive. He was the killer. He took the sword from Lars and explained that he knew Concat had written the company in his nephew Dave's name, and Dave, being a reckless DJ, would ruin the company. Sam felt he deserved to own the company and the money because he was the oldest employee. Since Lars had a superpower, he touched the killer and weakened him, allowing Jenny and Juan to escape and lock themselves in. Suddenly, they saw the killer drowning Benelope, Juan's beloved, in the water. Juan was happy, broke the glass with an axe, but when Sam the killer came to kill them, Lars appeared and stabbed him with the sword, finishing him off. Morning came, and they jumped into the water, trying to signal any passing ship or boat. But they discovered all the boats were sunk underwater by Sam the killer. Lars asked Juan to retrieve a propeller from one of the sunken boats to install it on the one they found and escape. Juan did this as his last good deed, because Sam the killer was still alive, appeared, and killed him. They were shocked, but Lars tied Sam with a rope around a wooden beam and spun the boat hard, causing the rope to squeeze Sam's body until he was cut in half. Sam, who became a killer out of greed, died. Lars managed to save the last team member, his beloved Jenny, and Benelope, the late Juan's beloved. They called for rescue boats for the survivors on the island. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video.